Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is John Rodriguez. I'm the network administrator from the Webster University Fort Bliss campus, and I'm coming at you one last time with one last tutorial on how to use our library. And this is so you can access the database and find scholarly journals, peer-reviewed journals. So, again, if you notice, I'm starting from www.webster.edu. Never mind that whole index thing. You can just type that into your web browser or do a Google search for Webster University, and you'll be on this page once you click on the link that pops up at the top. So this is our home page from our main site at St. Louis, and you'll find at the bottom we have the library link. Again, say for instance you're at our Fort Bliss homepage. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Fort Bliss homepage for Webster University. That's our location. And if you scroll to the bottom, there you go again. You've got the library. So no matter what, the library is going to be down here. So we'll go ahead and click on the library. We're on the library, and typically the best way to go is with articles and databases. I haven't heard of any other professors requiring anything else. There are some ebooks, e-reserves, ebooks, other options that you can go with, but a lot of them I believe are by mail, and it takes maybe 2-3 weeks before you can get some of these things in the mail. So just to plan on that if you are intending to go with some of these other options. But again, largely 99% of the time, you're going to go with articles and databases, or at least will be required to do articles and databases. So let's go ahead and go articles and databases. Now in this section, you can select by discipline. So you can go business and technology, business and finance, computer science, math, humanities, or etc. Or you can go by a database. I prefer to go by database, so that's the way I'm going to go ahead and show you. You don't have to do it this way. This is just a rule of thumb, and maybe get your feet wet. So from here, we're going to go with EBSCOhost is the one I like to choose. Another couple options that I've heard that have been kind of popular have been ERIC. I know that's been popular with some of the counseling students. And another one is ProQuest, which has also been used in typically by business students, but I think that it will also apply towards most any discipline. And there's ProQuest right there. So you can choose between those if you like. There are a whole bunch of options here, but again, I prefer EBSCOhost. So EBSCOhost, and then what we're going to have to do is put in our name, our last name. There's my last name, and then we've got to put in as our password. We put in our student ID number. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then the last three is EWL, and it shows you right here to do that. I'm not exactly sure why they do that. I think that's some sort of security measure to prevent bots from taking the site down or doing any sort of malicious activity from spam, etc. So I went ahead and put all that in there, last name. And remember, this is not your connections username and password. This is different. This is your student ID number followed by a capital EWL. It has to be capital. So we're going to go ahead and log into the database. And just waiting for a moment while it pulls up. So again, now under this database, EBSCO is very versatile, has a lot of disciplines underneath it. You can select a specific discipline, say there's business source complete, so if you're doing a business paper, you can do that. Communication and mass media complete, ebook collection, health technology assessments, even ERIC. I mean, that's one that I recommended earlier. It appears that ERIC is actually lumped in with this. I don't believe that ProQuest is. I'm kind of curious now, though, now that that comes up. No, ProQuest isn't in there, but Sci-articles for psychology. There's all sorts of things. So you can select any of those individual or like multiple individual ones to databases to search through, but my preference is to go and select everything, and that way you're not skipping anything at all. So I'm going to go ahead and go there. What you want to select is full text, because you don't want to. Sometimes you pull up an abstract or something, and it sounds like a good article, but then you're not able to pull the article. You have to go through all these menus. It becomes tedious and time-consuming, very cumbersome, and I highly recommend that you don't go that route. Just select full text. You'll thank me for it later. And if you don't, well, that's okay. I'm sure internally you're thanking me for it in some way. So we've got the full text there, and then scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Some professors will say, I want only peer-reviewed journals. So if that's the case, you're going to select that right there. You don't have to otherwise if they don't request that, but maybe you want to. It's really up to you at that point. Publish date. Maybe a professor wants only articles published within the last 5 years, within the last 10 years, last 20 years. I mean, articles can go far back. You can go back to 1900 and, have something that's completely irrelevant to what you're looking up as well. So it's probably a good practice to put some sort of date. So since we're in August right now, let's say we're going to go ahead and go with August, and we'll say the year will go back as far as 2010. And we'll go up to present date, which is August 2013. So we'll say within the past 3 years. That's pretty recent. So I think that's well within a range of research. Now what you want to select up here, what I like to select, you can go with maybe subject terms, or you can go with title. Those are really focused. But in general, I like to go with abstract because the abstract is the summary of what the paper is about. And when you search up for keywords in the abstract, typically you're focusing more on the thing that you're looking for. Because otherwise, if you're looking in the body, or if you're looking in the where is it? I thought it was up here somewhere. You got the abstract, alt text. If you're looking for alt text and the word that you're looking up pops up once in 400 pages, then the other 399 pages have absolutely nothing to do with the topic that you're looking up. So, but if it comes out in the abstract, chances are that the paper is about that specific topic that you're looking up. Again, if you were to look up author, if you're looking up business practices in the computer industry, there's not going to be an author with that name, so it's pointless to select that. But if you leave it blank, yeah, you probably find some good stuff, I'm thinking. But abstract just helps to narrow that focus down and help you find your stuff easier. So I'd go with abstract. Okay, let's say we're going to look up something in organizational behavior. That's a business term, a business class that I've actually taken at one point. So let's say organizational behavior, and then let's say hiring practices. So hiring practices, how do organizations behave when hiring for new employees? So we'll go ahead and do the search there, clicking on that. Let's just wait for it to go through. It looks like it didn't really pull up a whole lot. We've got normative models for strategic decision-making in industrial organizational psychology and in organizational behavior. If you click on that, you can read the entire abstract to get an idea of what it's about. So it says right there. And then, the authors, you can click on the PDF full text here on the left-hand side if you want to check out the entire article. When the article pulls up, you'll see you have the option down here. You can actually save it. Normally, I suggest to save it to a thumb drive. If you don't have a thumb drive, you can save it and then email it to yourself. So that's another option. Or you can print it. Just keep in mind, if you're printing in the computer lab, we have a limit of 15 pages per day that you're allowed to print. You could do front and back, so maybe that would help you out a little bit. But no matter what, we do have that 15-page limit. So do keep that in mind when if you want to come into the lab and print. Anyways, so we go back to the other page we were at. If you decide you like it, you can also click on the PDF full text here. Keep in mind, if the PDF full text doesn't pull up, there might be an HTML full text. That's going to be the full text as well. But if you don't have HTML or PDF full text options on the bottom, then you don't have the full text, and finding it is going to be next to impossible. So I suggest running as fast as you can away from that, and maybe modify your search. So okay, let's change our search and see if we can find something more. Let's say we're looking up hiring practices, and let's say hospitals. Okay, so let's see. What are the hiring practices in hospitals? So hospitals hiring practices. The reason I separate these words too is because if you put them all in one line, say if I put hospitals hiring practices, I guess that, I mean, that kind of makes sense. But the thing is that typically the search engine is going to look for everything to be back to back to back. So in the sentence, it's literally going to have to say hospitals hiring practices. That doesn't quite sound right. I think in a sentence you might hear something like, "This is a research paper to diagnose what the hiring practices are of hospitals." That's not, hospitals hiring practices exactly verbatim. It's different. I guess you could say the hospital's hiring practices, but in that case there would be an apostrophe. I don't know if that would really make a difference. It might, but again, you might want to separate it if it doesn't make sense. If it doesn't sound like it would be in a sentence or whatever, or if you think your search may pull out better this way, go ahead and try it. And if it doesn't work out, just try a different search. Just kind of try and finagle something, mess around with the keywords. Okay, so I got 3 results. You got a few more. PDF full text, PDF full text. All of them have full text. You can click on the titles again and read the abstract and see if it's what you're looking for, and then you can go to the PDF full text. All the information here you can use for when you cite the source on your paper. You're going to do that in APA formatting, and in fact, let me go ahead and show you a useful tool for APA formatting. This is separate from EBSCOhost. I just opened up a new tab. In fact, I'm going to go to Google to look this up. So now I'm on Google, and I'm going to look up Son of Citation. If you go to the Son of Citation machine, I find this extremely, extremely useful. You're going to go APA 6th edition, that's the most recent edition, and you would say it is a scholarly journal, so it's a journal right there, and then you're going to get all the information from this page over here that I pulled up from this tab, separate tab, and then you're going to insert it, the author's name. You can add an extra author, multiple authors, 2 authors, let's say 3 authors, and there we go. We've got 3 authors, year published, title of article, etc. And then you click Make Citation, and you'll get a citation. It may not be quite exact, so you want to compare to the book. But the APA formatting book, the 6th edition, it's this little blue pocket-sized type book, soft cover. So that could be useful for you as well. So yeah, pretty much. Let's say let's try another one just to see if we can pull up more results. Let's say hospitals and hiring. Instead of hiring practices, let's do hiring. And let's see how many results we get. We got 3 the last time. We got 1 the first time. And voila, we've got 99 this time, which is still not a whole lot, but it's more than enough to get you going in the right direction for a paper. Maybe instead of hospitals, you want to put something else. Maybe you're looking for some sort of specific, let's say orthopedic, or pediatric. Let's say pediatric, and let's change hiring to employees. And maybe you find some different information there. Let's do the search. Obviously, you're going to find some sort of different information. That didn't pull up anything surprisingly. So maybe again, you just want to switch around your keywords. But that's really the key to using this. Just play around with the keywords. Don't be afraid to type in whatever. Just try and use those guidelines that I've shown you here. Go with abstract, full text, scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Maybe the date range. If I were to change the date range to go back further, I bet if I went back to 2000 and we put hospitals and then hiring like we did that other time, I bet you it's going to pull more than 3, which I believe is what pulled up when we did the search a minute ago here. Yeah, look at that. I mean, 261, huge difference. So, again, if you can go further back on your dates, maybe that's going to be your solution. So you can play around with all of these different options and pull up different results and get your articles and do what you like with them, print them, save them, whatever. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm in the computer lab typically, or I'm in the office sometimes in the daytime, running around. I'm all over the place sometimes. So if I can help you out, I will. Just ask me. Don't be frightened. I'll bestow all my knowledge upon you that I can. So thank you for listening. I hope this helps, and we'll see you around. Take care.